Hey guys, so today I wanted to talk about Instagram and the three-prong strategy that the founder uses to massively grow Instagram accounts fast. This is the strategy that I have created after paying hundreds, even thousands of dollars on Instagram courses and also spending tons of time inside the platform. I've grown accounts for really high level influencers, and I've also grown accounts from zero to tens and 50,000 of accounts at a time in very short periods of time. Now, this is not a quick strategy. This is a strategy that actually takes a little bit of a while. I've been able to master this particular strategy to the point that I'm able to guarantee 10,000 followers within 45 days. But I don't recommend starting out with that guarantee if you're just starting as a social media manager. What I recommend instead is actually mastering the strategy that I'm going to present to you guys today, step by step, and actually understand every single little piece of information that I'm going to give you guys. And then after you guys feel very comfortable with the steps, then start actually testing and creating case studies so that you can build your portfolio and also build your confidence in the platform. So a lot of people are talking about how Instagram's engagement has gone down, about how the algorithm has changed and made things so much more difficult for influencers. While that is the case, because we are now at Instagram now is sort of like a ripe account or platform, so to speak. That means that there are the users that are inside the Instagram platform are users that are already predictable for the algorithm. And so because Facebook purchased Instagram, we're now kind of focusing more on user experience and how to develop the platform even more and how to maintain people within the platform. So if you guys understand that particular fact, you will also understand why it's become so difficult to a lot of people, the actual platform itself. However, when you start looking at really, really successful accounts, whether they're micro influencers who have, followers, a number of followers like less than 10,000, for example, but still are making money on the platform. When you look at these very successful accounts, you can start seeing some patterns right away in terms of the captions, in terms of the kind of content that they have that they're sharing on the audience, to the audience, and also the numbers of posts per day, for example, at what times they're posting, what kind of IG stories they're using, and all sorts of things that you can actually start gathering from just doing your research and focusing on user experience first before actual strategy. The other thing I want to kind of make sure that you guys understand before I get into teaching mode is that when it comes to Instagram, we have to look at Instagram sort of as a brand awareness tool rather than a tool that you can actually make a lot of sales in. And the reason why you want to do that at the beginning, especially if you're just starting out, is because it does take a while for you to start growing your Instagram account to the point that you have a solid audience that is actually listening to you and actually following what you say and believing in what you do. And if you're a social media manager who's just starting out, you want to actually explain to your client sort of like the customer workflow or the consumer behavior, and make them understand that typically people don't just buy off of one single iteration of content. It's typically 7 of those to remember who you are, and even more to actually gain that trust, know, and like factor that we are always talking about when it comes to content marketing, right? So in order to establish a relationship of trust, we have to consistently be present in the platform. And the way that I like to kind of think about this is that if I'm focused on mastering one specific platform, I am going to kind of like just like grab all the information I can from the platform and looking at all the different users, and then use that platform as a brand awareness tool before we actually get into sales and conversions. And that's not something that I'm going to be covering in this particular training. What I'm going to be covering is the growth of vanity metrics, which is what people typically look into, like, which is followers, but more specifically growth of followers from an organic and actually sound, wholesome strategy or standpoint. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and hopefully this works, and I'm going to actually get into presentation mode, and let's get started. So this strategy, just a little to give you guys a little bit of a background, this strategy came about because when I first started social media management, which was several years ago, I used to be an Instagrammer, influencer before this, and I used to be a blogger. I thought that blogging was going to actually bring me in tons of money, and I was going to be able to live comfortably. And I found out the hard way that blogging was going to take a while for it to start giving me the kind of money that I needed right away. So then after that, I transitioned into social media management, and I met Rachel Pedersen, and I went into SMU. I grabbed all that information that's in SMU, all the master classes. I followed a lot of Instagram gurus and experts, and I reverse engineered the strategies that they were actually teaching off of just master classes like this. And I did a lot of testing, and I did a lot of investing in this knowledge. And I came to realize that a lot of the strategies that people sort of throw rocks at are actually the only strategies that work, that are algorithm proof, and that still grow your Instagram account. The only caveat, though, to what I'm saying is that you have to do it the right way in order for it to be an ethical strategy for growth. So when you talk about bots and fake followers, we don't want to do that. This is not that kind of strategy. It is, however, going to talk about some little bit kind of like some strategies that are on the gray area. But I need you guys to understand that this is what people are doing, even at the highest level of influence. Okay, so let's get started. So our three-pronged strategy is used for explosive growth. It's not an easy strategy to pull off. So I just want to make sure that you guys understand that it's like, I'm going to give you step by step what I do, but it takes time to master, and it takes meticulous orchestration of every single piece of strategy that I'm going to give you guys today. So give yourself some grace. Be patient with this. I would recommend, if you guys have a budget for marketing yourselves, which you guys should, this is just a recommendation. If you guys are just starting out, I would totally recommend that you set yourself a budget to play around with Instagram of around $300 to start, so that you guys can actually start kind of figuring out the flow of what I'm about to teach you. Okay, so the thing about followers, we love them, our clients love them, we want them, and every time we look at accounts, we look at those follower numbers and we get really impressed the higher they are. But the truth is that the platform is infested with bots, and no matter how much you try, there will always be a percentage of fake accounts that will follow you. This is true with so many accounts that are celebrity accounts. When Instagram does sweeps, and that means when they start sweeping out these fake accounts or inactive accounts, sometimes you see like accounts like The Rock, for example, that just drop drastically when it comes to followers. And the reason why they lose followers and why we lose followers, even though it hurts probably more to us than The Rock, is because there are fake follower accounts all of the time following you, and you can't do anything about it. What you can do, however, is create beautiful, engaging content that will actually attract as many good people as possible. But just understand, for your sake as a social media manager, or for your sake as a business owner, that there are fake accounts. No matter how much you try to create a beautiful feed, no matter how much beautiful, amazing content, no matter how much you spend in terms of creating that content, you will always have fake followers inside your follower count, and you can't stop that. Again, Instagram does sweeps very often, almost every single day, and that's one of the reasons why you will see that you'll start, you'll drop followers every once in a while. But also, they like these bot followers and people that are using these really iffy strategies, they have a follow unfollow strategy as well. So I don't want you guys to feel discouraged about this. There is a way to actually increase the ratio of follow unfollow every single day, and I'm gonna show you guys with this. So anyways, focus on the art of content and selling, and you guys will be all set. So before starting the strategy, before you get into the 3 steps that I'm gonna actually show you guys today, you want to make sure that you're creating content that your new audience will stick to first, okay? And this means that you are creating content. It's almost like a fly trap, right? So the fly trap is open and their fly is flying around, and it just kind of just drops on the fly trap, and the fly trap just goes poof and eats it, right? So you want to look at your content and your platform sort of like a fly trap. And whatever is inside that entices the fly, or in this case, the audience or your followers, you want to make sure that you are making it as enticing as possible. And this is where ecosystem marketing comes in. You have to understand that more than communities, businesses should be building ecosystems. And so when we talk about communities, I like to look at communities like, for example, there's a Facebook community. You may have a Facebook group. That in itself is a community. You might have a community on Instagram as well that actually follows you. And you might also have a Twitter community. You might have a community on LinkedIn. And all these different people or these different communities have people that live within those communities, and they don't actually navigate to the others or travel to the others. Some do, but most of them just stay in that particular community. So people that stay on Facebook will, that engage highly on Facebook will continue to stay on the Facebook platform because they prefer that platform for their user experience. Then Instagram, the people that actually navigate Instagram is the same thing. Just really depends on how long they actually stay on the platform. So if you're looking at these social media platforms like communities, then it's sort of like when you look at the bigger picture of what social media is, that's the ecosystem. And the ecosystem is where all of these different communities are. So what we need to understand is that ecosystems create sort of like the framework of your content. That's what you need to base the content on. So for example, when we talk about business or company ethos, and these are kind of like the essences of the business, like the culture. What do you believe in? What is it that you're actually throwing rocks at? So if you guys have heard about Russell Brunson or Expert Secrets, all these books talk about throwing rocks at something or creating a cult-like following, or creating an audience that is stuffed with like brand advocates or loyal followers. The thing that makes people relate to you and your business is called a company ethos. And this ethos is basically set up by the business. So if you're a social media manager, you want to ask the client like, hey, like, what is it that you believe in? What makes you super passionate about your business? What makes you proud about the services or the products that you offer? What do you call your community? Some people have names to their communities, or like, what do people say about your business? What do people say about your services? What do people say about the community? Why do they stay with you? Why do they follow you? You got to ask these questions at the very beginning of your whole Instagram strategy. Mind you, I haven't even gotten started to step one, but you have to have all this stuff in place, and you have to understand the company ethos, and you have to understand that you're creating a community within the ecosystem of the brand, okay? So the community is based on the actual platform itself. I actually have here little blurb of a company called Lively. Lively sells lingerie and active like underwear and things like that. And the way that they were able to build a multi-million-dollar company is by actually focusing on creating these ecosystems. They built communities within their ecosystem so well that they actually allowed the community to build the brand. So they started asking questions within polls, and they sent email lists and emails through their email list about what they should call the business, what kind of products they want, how should they price things, and eventually they ended up building ambassador systems through the actual communities. So it's so important that you understand the social media, the broad social media strategy, and not focus so much on the follower part. Again, I know that this presentation is for growth, but I want to make sure that you guys understand this part, because this part is so important. This is the foundations for that strategy. So the company ethos is the essence of the ethos is right here. So it literally kind of describes what Lively is and what is inspired, what are they feeling passionate about. Like they say, we believe, Lively is inspired what we believe makes women sexy today: smart, healthy, active, and outgoing. We are delivering bras and undies that blur the aesthetic lines of lingerie, active, and swim, taking the best elements of high style and comfort from each category. We're establishing an entirely new category and POV of lingerie, a movement that we call lingerie. So this is basically what you will use. Like if I was creating an Instagram marketing strategy or content marketing strategy for this particular client, I have an ethos that makes clear sense about who they're talking to. They're talking about women who want to feel sexy today, modern day women who want to feel smart, healthy, active, and outgoing. So then we'll kind of just break down the content from the broad themes into narrow topics. So just want to make sure that you guys understand that. And after that, just want you guys to understand that the basics, before you actually get into creating the strategy or starting the strategy for growth, you need to understand that user experience and good content are gonna make or break your growth strategy. So if you guys don't have the user experience down and you don't understand how the actual Instagram platform works and what is the kind of content that is currently working today, and you don't have good content, then it's not gonna work. A lot of people talk about the actual feed of Instagram. Some clients love the highly curated, highly branded stuff. Other clients do not care as long as they get the follower count that they're looking for. I want you guys to understand that instead of going based on what the client wants, instead of going based on what your gut feeling says about your business, you want to listen to the market. The market will tell you what kind of content they're hungry for. So remember when I said the fly trap? The market will tell you what they're hungry for. So the most successful feeds are the ones that are intentional. And the reason why I actually put that quote there is because you want to make sure that you're doing your actual market research before you create the content, before you actually settle on what kind of feed you're going to use. in this particular section, you'll see that, for example, Beth Kirby, which is one of my most favorite Instagrammers, she has a highly curated feed, but she's also a photographer and she's a creative biz coach. So it makes sense that her feed is highly curated with beautiful filters, and it just looks so planned out. I wouldn't even have a clue if I were to have an Instagram that way on how to even start that, right? But she, because of what she is and how her business is ran, and basically what kind of people are attracted to her, she decided on having a highly curated feed with filters and beautiful pictures. Okay, you don't see memes, you don't see illustrations. All of it is actually real, wholesome stuff. Another Instagram that has similar vibes to that is Jenna Kutcher's Instagram. And these two Instagram accounts are very much about the wholesome, real, here's, it's wholesome, natural, and the people that are attracted to that feed are basically sharing the same interests. And so if you look at Hip Latina, that's also an account that I personally follow and that I love. Hip Latina is completely different. It has memes, it has illustrations, it has videos, and it has also over almost 53,000 followers, and it's highly engaged as well. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that instead of actually focusing on what kind of feed you're going to be looking at or creating, take a look at the market, listen to it, watch it, and see what other influencers and competitors at a higher level than you are or your clients are. What are they doing? What kind of hashtags are they using? What kind of captions? Are they long format captions or are they short captions? Is it a highly curated feed, or are they even regrabbing stuff from other accounts? And what are those accounts that they're using to inspire the content that they use, right? So you want to make sure that you do that, and you actually are planning ahead for that. So let's get to step one of the actual strategy. So step one is to build networks and diversify the types of networks. So a lot of people don't agree with this particular part, but I'm telling you right now, like I said before, I've spent thousands of dollars and sleepless nights trying to figure out how to grow Instagram, and I've grown successfully tons of accounts already. And I gotta tell you, without this particular step, you are not going to go anywhere. Remember that social media is social. The reason why we're actually online is to socialize and build connections with people. The way that you build connections with people on Instagram, on the platform, is via DMs. So it's really important that you don't just build networks inside the actual account or the actual platform, but that you also engage and you also provide value, and you just say things that actually make people wonder who you are, click on your profile, etc., etc., etc. I don't have to go through that because this is kind of like engagement is obvious. That's part of the basic strategy for Instagram. But you also want to diversify the types of networks you have. So aside from DM groups and DMing people or commenting on their posts and things like that, you want to actually start creating Instagram pods. Once you actually set some relationships with other accounts and influencers, you might want to ask them things like, hey, I am trying to grow my account, and I'd love to build a network where we are all helping each other. I have maybe 2 to 3 more accounts that are working with me that are actually willing to do this. And would you like to be part of the pod? Now, if you get an account that has more followers than you and they like your posts, Instagram's algorithm thinks that it gives you street cred, basically. So it tells the algorithm that this account that has higher numbers than you is interested in your content, and so that raises your post in the feed. So it's really important that you have a diversity of accounts in there. You don't just have to have high follower accounts, and the likelihood that you're gonna get a lot of those high follower accounts is really slim, but don't be afraid of asking. I typically have my team go in and actually engage with over 20 accounts at a time every single day to see which of those accounts want to actually be part of the Instagram pods. So just don't be afraid, or the DM groups. So don't be afraid to ask, and just continue on trying every single day. There's also loop accounts. Loop accounts are amazing for fast growth. Just search for loops. You can do travel loops, female loops, girl boss loops. Like, all these types of loops are inside Instagram, and they are highly concentrated accounts, so of a specific type. So that means that, for example, girl boss loops are all female entrepreneur loops, and what they do is basically they follow each other, and they post on each account that there is a giveaway, or like grow more followers, and then you remove that post. And so, like, it's a cycle every single day. There's loops out there. Just go and search and just put the word loop, and you'll find tons of loops, and it's very self-explanatory. Try to do those at least 1 to 2 times a week, and you'll see your account blow up. Trust me. Then you also have Telegram groups. Telegram groups are highly looked down upon, but they're also very effective. You want to make sure that you're not in a Telegram group with hundreds and thousands of accounts. You want to have Telegram groups that also do not use bots and automated bots for the engagement and things of that nature. This is a reciprocity group. So basically what that means is that you'll share a post, and then if you have 20 or 30 accounts in that group, all 30 people are going to like your post. And what that does is basically, again, it tricks the algorithm to thinking that the actual post is valuable, and that people are actually finding interest in what you're saying. And again, the overall goal for Instagram's algorithm, and again, we're going back to user experience, is that they stay inside the platform. So how do they make people stay inside the platform? By showing people, users, the highest engaging type of content. And the only way you can tell the algorithm that this is a good piece of content is by getting a lot of likes and a lot of comments and a lot of engagement. And remember, engagement doesn't just include likes and comments. It also includes bookmarking, right? So we also have Facebook groups, and I put it there because I laugh when people say things like, oh, like Facebook groups for Instagram are wrong. It's bad. You shouldn't do it. You get your Instagram account shut down. You don't get your Instagram shut down because of that. You get your Instagram shut down because you use bots, okay? This, again, it's a social networking group, and you want to make sure that the groups that you're actually doing this, I'm not saying do a follow train, and I'm not saying that I'm not saying that you do a follow train. What I'm saying is, if you post on your Facebook group, for example, hey guys, I am trying to build my Instagram account, post below your Instagram handle and I'll follow you, and I'd love if you guys are into my content, I'd love for you guys to do a follow back. That's not a follow train. A follow train is when you go into a Facebook group, for example, and they say things like follow train, like literally, and then everybody follows each other. That makes no sense, because you don't know what kind of accounts are actually following you, and then Instagram doesn't know what kind of content or account you are, because they also take that into consideration, what kind of people are following you. So aside from setting up the networking and building up your network, you want to build out a shout out campaign. So once you kind of get an idea of who is on Instagram and who do you actually like, and maybe you look at this account and you're like, oh my gosh, I really like this account. I love what they're all about. And I would love to get an IG story shout out. Can you imagine what would happen if they gave me a shout out? You can actually go in the DMs and ask that person, hey, how much is it for a shout out? Or hey, do you do shout out campaigns? Or hey, how can we collaborate? I would love to collaborate with you. Do you do some type of influencer marketing? Do you accept sponsorships or brand sponsorships? How can I sponsor you? Right? So then what happens is they're going to send you a reply. They're going to reply like either, no, we don't do this, or yes, this is how much it costs and this is what it involves. But you don't just stop there. You don't just send the money out there. You want to first test the quality of relationships, and you do this by keeping close tabs on the accounts that have collaborated with you. So you might say, okay, Emily, I want you to give me a shout out. And I tell you, okay, it's going to cost you $50. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 3 days of IG stories. I'm just giving you kind of like an example of a hypothetical example of how much that costs. So then you pay me the $50 and you track how many followers you've gained, how many followers you've lost, and what kind of followers you've gained in those 3 days that actually you were being promoted by that particular account. I actually love using a spreadsheet for this, and I put the dates and the follower handles. Sometimes I track 3 shout outs at a time, but I typically like to do like really a small amount of follower shout outs, because then I can't keep track of where they're coming from. So again, all of this is actually, you need to test this all out, and you want to make sure that, again, the quality of the relationships that you're building with these influencers is good. At the end of the day, these shout out campaigns are part of what is called influencer marketing. Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. It is influencer marketing at the end of the day. Okay, so then after you do an influencer campaign or shout outs, I also want to give you some warnings. Shout outs do cost money. So before you start spending tons of money on that, just again, track how much their shout outs are and look at their feed. Always ask for insights. You want to make sure that there are unedited screenshots and that they're giving you the audience insight, like how many people, like what percentage are from the US, what percentage are from the UK. And also make sure that the account is on brand and that it actually like connects with what you're doing, right? Because like if I am a digital marketer, I don't want a bathing suit company giving me a shout out, right? Because it just wouldn't make sense. I would like somebody like Russell Brunson or Marie Forleo give me a shout out. That would be amazing. So you want to make sure that you look at the insights and that the account is on brand and it actually, connects with what you're doing. And like I said before, you want to make sure you keep a spreadsheet of the costs, and you want to keep updating your database and keep track of your costs so you can rinse and repeat the formula. Again, I'm at a point now where I'm able to do this within 45 days. And the reason why I'm able to do this within 45 days is because I've done a lot of research and I've been updating my database consistently throughout the last 2 years to make sure that the shout out accounts that I use are really good quality shout outs based on niche. Because again, guys, I used to be social media manager and, I guess I'm an Instagram specialist, and I was doing this for a living, and I needed to have different types of industries. And so I would have entrepreneur industries, luxury, real estate, like I'd have like all these different types of categories set up so that way I can look into which accounts would be good for that particular niche, okay? So the last step of the strategy is using giveaways. And giveaways are powerful tools that can explode your Instagram, but it's difficult to do it right. First, make sure you test how strong the engagement of your audience is, okay? So if your audience is not highly engaged right now, you don't want to set a giveaway. You don't want to set that up first. What you want to do is increase that engagement first, and then and continue to establish connections and hitting the DMs of your followers, because that's what's gonna. So this is a little trick. If you guys continue to pop in somebody's DM and they see it, then your feed, your content actually gets shown more because they're actually engaging with you on the DM. So that's actually trackable as well by the algorithm. So that's another reason why people are always on the DMs, because that actually makes you like be more apparent or be seen like on the feed. So sometimes I do a mini giveaway to test the audience too. So like if I'm not really quite sure, I might do like a mini giveaway. I did a mini giveaway for not too long ago for a skincare line, and I wanted to test the engagement. And after I realized that the engagement was not good, I started looking at the audience that they had, and I came to realize that the audience was actually skewed. They had people from Brazil, and most of their avatar lives in the United States. And so we had to clean that up, and we needed to increase the United States percentage and decrease the Brazil percentage as much as we can. So it's really important that, you know, you do these tests and actually kind of do some diagnostics to ensure that the audience that people that is following the account is good, that they're actually engaging, and then do the giveaway. um, you want to make sure that the price is actually like congruent to the niche that you're actually in. So if I'm a social media manager and I'm trying to grow my Instagram, and I did steps 1, 2, and I'm on step 3, which is the giveaway, I might want to give away maybe like a creator kit or a podcast kit, or I might want to do some like a bundle of entrepreneurial books, or I might want to actually give away the books and maybe a course on Instagram, for example, and that would actually help me with my giveaway funnel. So this is when we get a little bit fancy with the whole Instagram growth strategy, right? So if I do everything right, I could potentially, by using King Sumo, which is one of my favorite apps, by using King Sumo, some Facebook ads and Pinterest ads, you can like literally make this giveaway go on steroids after testing the engagement of your audience, right? So you can literally make this giveaway go on steroids, and by using Facebook ads, Pinterest ads, and King Sumo. And this is the amazing giveaway funnel, right? So again, make sure that the price is correct. And then what you can do is you can basically make people follow you on Instagram. So that increases your Instagram follower count, and then get points to kind of rise their rank or like increase their ranking or possibility to win like the amazing price. I typically, when I put the steroids on my giveaway funnels, I typically like to tell clients to get at least $1,000 worth of prices, because people are not going to take the additional steps for something that only costs $300 or $100. Okay, so make sure that it's a price that is over $1,000. And literally, what King Sumo does is, and if you position this right, what you can do is make people not just follow your Instagram account, but maybe subscribe to YouTube will be 1 more point. And 2 points if you subscribe to YouTube and my email list. And 3 more points if you subscribe to my YouTube, my email list, and join my Facebook group. So if you do all 3 things, you get 3 tickets to enter the raffle to win a $1,000 prize or whatever, right? So you want to make sure that, again, you position all of this right. And we've had so much success with this giveaway funnel and the 3 steps that I just went over, that we have been able to increase email lists by thousands per week off of this Instagram giveaway. And also, of course, if the person has a URL in their bio, it also increases traffic. Don't let anybody tell you that Instagram can't send traffic to your URLs, because that's a lie. And so once you master this, like, you want to make sure that you are rinse and repeating this every single period of doing the cycle from step 1, 2, and 3. And by doing this, we've grown an account from 0 to 10K in less than 40 days, 45 days, and you can too. So just to recap, you want to understand your client avatar. You want to create good content. You want to understand the user experience on Instagram. You want to make sure that after you do those 3 things, you start building connections and testing those connections out by keeping track on a spreadsheet or however you want to do. And you want to test those connections through daily shout out campaigns and loops. So I typically, in the spreadsheet, I don't just have the shout out campaigns, I also have the loop campaigns. And I'm like, okay, well, this loop account was really successful. I'm gonna do it again and see if it works again. And after I test it for a couple of times, I know that this loop is going to be more than likely super effective if I offer it to use it for another client, right? So you want to gather the most effective relationships and campaigns and offer them the opportunity, right? Like offer the accounts that are actually within these campaigns the opportunity to participate in a giveaway, because that's not the only thing. Like you don't just use Facebook ads, Pinterest ads, and King Sumo. You might want to actually collaborate with 10 other accounts that may have thousands or 10,000s or 50,000, 100,000 followers to help you actually spread the news of the giveaway, right? So the more people that participate in promoting that giveaway organically, the better on Instagram, and the more success you'll have in terms of growing. And then at the end, after you do all of the things that I just mentioned, you want to make sure you host a giveaway and you are careful with it. Make sure that your audience is highly engaged, and rinse and repeat. Anyways, guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. I hope you found this helpful. Yeah, you can find me on Facebook, Emely Roman, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.